Good morning, everybody. I am the Knowledge Alchemist. So this is a brand new YouTube channel, and this video is not scripted, but I do have a little bit of an idea of what I want to do, which is just to explain kind of what I'm about, what the channel is about, what I want to do with it, and I want to go through a little bit of work of preparing the channel for its future content. So the first thing that I did, because I'm really into artificial intelligence and technology and stuff. I really like the digital age. I think it's very interesting. And it's important for me in the digital age that we understand that these tools are both good and bad. It depends on how we use them. And so there's plenty of examples that I'll give at another time. But it's important that we understand how to merge ourselves with the technology without losing humanity. It's very important to me that we keep who we are, that we tell our story, that we share, that we act like people. So maybe I'll give one example. I find that in the creation of YouTube videos and TikToks and things, this content that we're producing as humans and creators, it becomes very normal to be overly analytical about it. And so what happens is that someone who is telling their story and just kind of like being themselves doesn't really get anywhere because we're drowned out by flashy text and captions and quick cuts and all this kind of stuff. And we could argue that it's a part of humanity to enjoy all of that stimulation. But I'm at my most happiest in life, honestly, when I'm just kind of like sitting outside and going for walks and exercising, and I've got a routine and I've got something to engage myself in, some hobby, when I'm spending time with my wife or playing with my puppy and things like this. That's what actually makes me happy. But in this kind of like in this world, in this economy, it's kind of difficult to just be that because we have to work and we have to do things and we have to compete with everybody else. And the world has become very scientific and is very interested in kind of gaming the system as much as possible. So the quick cuts is what ends up getting popular because it works on the psychology of the human. And so we get stuck in these doom scrolling sessions and we get overstimulated. And it's great for the people who engage in that on the creation side because they get maybe a larger audience, they get to make money, they get sponsorships, which is really just about larger companies using their audience to sell stuff to you effectively at the end of the day to give you more stimulation. And so we need to find a balance in that. And I feel like that is one of the things that has held me back in gaining success in my life and in many other people's lives because I, for myself, know that I'm not particularly interested in competing in that way by having all these quick cuts and spending 8 hours a day quick cutting YouTube shorts and TikToks or whatever and compilations of like sports stuff with flashy texts and all of this just so that I can make some money, etc., etc. Like I want to produce something a little bit more wholesome. I don't really know how to say it. And being that I'm 36 and I've kind of been entrepreneurial since I was relatively young, in my teens anyways, it's always kind of been like my dream to just be me and be able to be happy, healthy, and wealthy as a result of me just being me, like taking my creativity and putting that into the world. And maybe that's possible for someone who gains a large following and then they're able to expand and then just become kind of like a celebrity and have their own like personal name brand. But I think for smaller creators and people without that very scientific and analytical drive and so on and so forth, that can be somewhat difficult. So if you're in that same boat, I've decided to start a new project. I'm kind of coming into this fresh. I'm using ChatGPT for a lot of this. And basically, as the Knowledge Alchemist, what I had put together in my head was that, knowledge just being like the accumulation of experiences and reading and going through situations in life effectively. And then alchemy being kind of like a proto science, something that's not necessarily disciplined and doesn't have that like Um, it's not solidified as a discipline in science yet, but it's a work in progress. I kind of felt like being that my knowledge is a work in progress, it kind of suits my jack of all trades nature, my understanding and wanting to be happy, healthy, and wealthy, but then also wanting to do this in a very human way, to grow over time, right? And it's very important for me to grow, and I think that other people should grow. So, one of the things that's very normal about me to say is that I love to, learn and teach, but I love to learn a lot more than I love to teach. And it's hard to create a brand on just me learning, because I can sit there and I can consume information and, write blog posts for myself and talk to ChatGPT all by myself, talk to my wife and have experiences and stuff. But how do you monetize that? How do you put that out into the world for other people to be able to consume, to be inspired, to grow and to create, and to also take on their own personal journey, but with somewhat of a template for that happiness, the wealth and success, and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm attempting to do. So I've started this entire thing, right now, anyways, by talking to ChatGPT, and just kind of like decided to ask it to be a life coach, and went through some, like, emotional stuff about like my dad and like money making, wealthy stuff, and how I become hyper fixated on like wanting to be rich, but it's not necessarily what I want to do. I just know that it would solve some of my problems. Not that I wouldn't have other problems. So it started talking to me about intrinsic motivation and the clarity of purpose, and goal setting and all these types of things. And so as I was having this conversation, we decided that, okay, fine, we're going to start a YouTube channel, and that's what I'm doing right now, right? So these are the things that I'm personally interested in my own time, is health and fitness, business and entrepreneurship type stuff, psychology, personal development, technology, artificial intelligence, digital marketing, and I really like content creation. I do enjoy it, even though that I don't do it in that analytical, like algorithmic way that would be necessarily required to succeed. But I love creating content. So as we were kind of going into this, I ended up getting in the name. So we ended up choosing, or I ended up choosing, the Knowledge Alchemist. And so beginning here is my conversation with it today, as I picked up from my conversation yesterday. And it said, okay, here's the first steps. It's like content planning and branding and stuff like this. So I was like, okay, let's just go with content planning. And this is the list of things that it's told me to do. So I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Google Doc. Actually, let's do this under the new name. So what I want to do is I want to take my conversation with ChatGPT. Sorry, that's bright. Put this stuff down to kind of have the conversation as to what it is that I should be doing, and just kind of go through it. So the first thing that I need to do is to identify the target audience, and I know this is a part of effectively. Okay, let's put that with content planning. Okay, so content planning. So the first thing is to identify the target audience. Then we define the content pillars. We brainstorm some ideas, create an editorial calendar, diversify the content formulas. Some of those I don't know what it is really. Plan for collaboration and guest features, and incorporate audience feedback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video here, but I'm going to continue chatting with ChatGPT a little bit. I'm going to build out this document, and this document is going to be kind of like the one-stop shop document that I'm going to use to continue conversations with ChatGPT and move the channel forward. And so as things are evergreen and changing on the channel, I'll update this document. But for the most part, I'm gonna use it to take action on the channel, and I'll make it available through my content so you guys can see what it is that I'm doing. I think one of the big things that I want to focus on comes from Gary Vaynerchuk, where he said, like, document, don't create, right? So this is my journey. I'm documenting the first video, and then, excuse me, as I complete stuff on this document, I'm going to use it, but then also share it with you so that we can all kind of see the progress of what happens over the next year of doing this. So that's it for now. So I'll see you guys on the next video.